Today we're going to discuss the trends in online and blended learning environments. Before we get going, though, we're going to take a brief look at EdTech. Educational technology is an overarching term for all learning methodologies that employ some form of digital engagement. In recent literature, gamification, microlearning, collaborative tools, AI powered learning, blended learning, and open education resources all quantify trends in the online learning community. All forms of education, K 12, post secondary, and professional, are being impacted by advancements in technology. Exploring and understanding the trends in online learning is imperative for best practices. According to a recent poll by the American Consortium for Equity in Education, 93% of educators reported that EdTech improves student learning and should be an included aspect of the teaching and learning process. First, we're going to look at gamification. Research determined that learning which shares components with student interests outside of the classroom improves engagement and experiences. Gamification is a process that uses programs which incorporate game elements such as competition, reward, and challenges to maintain engagement and motivate learners. This trend is applicable to all levels of learning, however, it's most prevalent in the K 12 learning environment. These tools can range from online programs that have clever video game components used throughout the entirety of the day to short lessons that use a competitive program for assessment, review, or rehearsal. Research has shown that gamification can build an emotional connection between students and content, which in turn improves engagement, retention, and motivation. When used in conjunction with traditional learning, gamification leverages the benefits of online tools and the engagement of gaming because of its connection with out of the classroom everyday experiences. Gamification has been shown to extend learner engagement as well as have a positive affect. Implementation of gamification in the classroom is relatively easy and generally requires nothing more than for students to have access to some type of device. One example of gamification in my elementary classroom has included the use of the program GimKit, which is played as a whole group competition. This game is comprised of an extensive library of online learning games focused in range from type of question to the number of questions. Teachers can create an account and launch a game. Students just have to enter a game pin and they're able to play. At the conclusion of the game, the educator can download these analytics to determine student understanding of the learning concept, which is then used to modify in-class instruction and lesson planning. The next trend that we're going to look at is nano learning, also called micro or chunking. They describe small, easily digestible amounts of learning materials that help to reduce the cognitive load capacity that lengthy lectures, reading assignments, or other learning resources use and consume large portions of time. The use and efficiency of this strategy has been exemplified in the integration of technology. Although microlearning is used in certain aspects of the K 12 learning, it's really more prevalent in the post secondary education setting, wherein learners require methodologies that cater to time constraints, attention and focus, motivation, and engagement in order to just enhance that retention. Many forms of social media, such as TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, they all use short chunked content to engage the viewer. Mimicking this type of content in the teaching and learning process replicates familiarity and feelings of engagement seen in relation to social media. Studies show that engaged and motivated students are more likely to complete coursework as well as retain the information presented. Microlearning in elementary education is used in a lot of different ways. One specific way to use microlearning is with the inclusion of various online learning programs. Tools such as Khan Academy, Zern, Puzzle all provide short duration lessons that focus on the learning objective. To develop the lesson, the first step is to determine the learning objective, identify which program successfully meets the needs of your students to accomplish that objective, and of course, review student work. The most important aspect of microlearning in any setting is measuring student learning so that you can use that information to determine your lesson effectiveness and, of course, modify as needed to help support student achievement. The next trend that we're going to look at is collaborative tools. Collaborative tools are digital platforms where students can engage with other learners, practitioners, and experts concurrent to the learning experience. Collaborative tools such as Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom, there's just naming a few there, facilitate connectivity and minimize the transactional distance that's often experienced during online learning. The trend of using collaborative online tools includes K-12 and post-secondary learners. One of the challenges to online learning is an increased sense of isolation. During and following the COVID-19 pandemic, research into student mental health during distance learning increased. One study determined that 58% of students reported increased stress relating to feelings of isolation and depression. For that reason, one major trend has been the inclusion of collaborative tools. Not only do opportunities to collaborate electronically reduce the sense of isolation that can be felt, but such options also prepare learners for the global digital workforce that's becoming so commonplace. Socialization and collaboration are essential elements to any form of learning. Use of collaborative tools in the online classroom are imperative to maintaining motivation, engagement, relationship, and reducing that sense of isolation. In the elementary classroom, there are several methods for collaborative tools. One that I really enjoy, though, is Google Classroom. The educator can host a Google Meet where students engage in virtual discussions. Peers can work on collaborative whiteboard platforms like Jamboard. That's just an ancillary of Google Suite. Or students can comment and engage with the educator using commentary features inside of Google Docs and Slides, which then can be submitted right into Google Classroom. Each of the aspects of Google Classroom support collaboration and engagement between all elements of the learning community. The next trend that we're going to look at is AI-powered learning. AI-powered learning has tremendous potential to impact the way students learn and, of course, teachers teach. AI learning refers to algorithms that are written to enhance student learning through adaptive technologies that identify gaps, provide personalization, and increase access to assistive technologies for exceptionalities, just naming a few. Online learning that's powered by AI tailors learning experiences and needs based on a student's profile, performance, and behaviors, as well as adapting content based on objective mastery. Research has shown that K-12 learners are more distracted, disengaged, and lacking in motivation. AI has been shown to remove the barrier of the one-size-fits-most learning to truly differentiate learning tools and progressions that aid in achievement, engagement, and success resulting from the AI-driven personalization. Approximately 54% of elementary education parents reported that AI had the potential to positively impact their child's education. The education field really would be remiss to fail in the application of such a rapidly evolving and ubiquitous aspect of online learning. In the elementary classroom, of course, AI can look a little bit different, and there's been a lot of conversation about it, but ChatGPT, although there is a lot of debate, has a tremendous potential in the elementary classroom when succinct instruction and guidance on use as the tool for learning is employed. A specific example of ChatGPT in my classroom is using the conversational software to guide students in finding information for animal research reports. Students were able to collaborate, if you will, with ChatGPT to build a presentation. Modeling then was completed to help students identify where discrepancies existed between the chat-generated information and accurate information, as well as how to edit it in such a way as to align with student presentation capabilities. The next trend we're going to look at is just blended learning. Blended or hybrid learning infuses that traditional educational pedagogy with ed tech to enhance the teaching and learning experience. Blended learning opportunities provide limitless potential for curriculum, learning resources, structure, and delivery of all facets of the educational process. Blended learning has a wide range of applications as well as educational levels. K-12 and post-secondary environments use blended learning to enhance student outcomes. Blended learning enables educators to leverage the benefits of traditional and online learning, which improves student achievement. Research regarding blended learning in post-secondary education found a significant increase in student success, performance, enthusiasm, and positive attitude towards learning when learners enrolled in a hybrid course. Meanwhile, additional literature determined that utilization of blended learning in the K-12 environment encouraged student independence, increased motivation, created a positive learning environment, and improved critical thinking skills and the achievement of the learning objective. Of course, the greatest barrier to any of these trends that we've discussed so far really is teacher trepidation and lack of professional development. Blended learning in the elementary classroom takes on a lot of different forms. There are many different EdTech tools which support blended learning in elementary. One of my favorites, though, is Seesaw. This is a really simple learning management system that caters to all aspects of the teaching and learning process. For an example, I've recorded video lessons of math concepts that I present to the class whole group in traditional teaching, which students then subsequently access in the digital platform. During the Seesaw lesson, students can review the concept and complete brief assignments to provide accountability, rehearsal, and of course then I can assess the learning objective. In addition, Seesaw provides parents and peers the opportunity to comment on student work and to support feedback and collaboration. Seesaw is incredibly easy to use. It doesn't require much professional development, which can be helpful when you're looking to implement a new type of tool that supports blended learning. The last trend that we're going to examine is open educational resources. This is another trend in online learning wherein OERs provide learners and educators with access to learning materials online. Resources can include textbooks, worksheets, and videos, which can be readily incorporated, accessed, and used to enhance the learning experience. Generally, OERs focus more on post-secondary learners, wherein those expansive and lengthy textbooks are requisite for the learning objective. However, interestingly, K-12 educators also use OERs as popularity and cost-effective options are really being realized. With many districts facing financial challenges and pressure to kind of mitigate funding, as well as, of course, the attractiveness for college students to have free and mobile access to education resource, OERs support that cost effectiveness due to the expansive amount of content that can be accessed free of charge. OERs really are gaining ground in the research as a best practice when paired with EdTech to support students that struggle to access materials due to exceptionalities. In the elementary setting, particularly here in my school district, use of OERs is much more succinct because students, of course, are at differing levels of reading achievement. However, one huge benefit of OERs is, of course, that there can be screen reader tools and other applications that can be used and powered with AI to support struggling readers with accessing learning resources despite the limitation on that reading achievement. In my school district, we do have purchased online curriculum, which is a little different from the OER, but it still provides that online access to the curriculum resources. We use Eureka Math and Wonders Online, which is our reading program. Through these programs, students can access learning materials from home or school without the difficulty of transporting textbooks. A true OER that I've used in the educational class or in the elementary classroom is Montana Historical Society's Montana Stories of the Land textbook. It includes textbooks, worksheets, and lesson planning templates to support students and educators in Montana history. To implement usage on this, the educator just accesses the website, selects educator materials, and downloads the teaching materials. Materials can also be downloaded, of course, and then re-uploaded into Google Classroom just for ease of student use and gradebook tracking need be. That concludes our discussion in trends for online and blended learning environments.